Rebecca, I have a question for you. Like in the programs you've run this year, like what are you seeing? And I know you've done lots of work with different firms. What are you seeing? Like when you work in this space, working on the skills of advisors, what's the big stuff for you that you notice?
Well, I mean, it's big stuff, but it's the simple stuff. It's not easy, but it's relatively simple. Getting comfortable with silence, not jumping into that pause, because where there's a pause in the conversation, that's where we're used to jumping in and getting our turn. Learning to listen without having that expected need to reply, being comfortable asking, well, what more do you want to say about that? And really getting the other person to dig in. And I think the other big thing is realizing that the client is the best person to solve. They're the expert on them, and actually they're probably the best person to solve some of these issues for themselves. Yes, you're the expert on the financial product solutions, whatever it is that's going to financially enable them to live the life that they want to live, but you're with them for maybe 2 hours in their whole year. There's so much else that's going on. So I think that positioning the client as the expert on them, and you're the expert on the financial side of things, and that's why they've come to see you. But that really realizing that and not jumping in too soon to fix a problem that might seem to be what's presenting itself, or you might have seen that with 10 other clients in the past. Let's not assume that that's the case with this person. Let's not assume that that's going to be the solution here. I was absolutely delighted to welcome Ruth Sturkey onto one of my recent courses, and she, you might have seen her blog, but in her most recent blog, she wrote about her experience, and she said something like, when she was listening in this way that I teach, I could see the humanity, intelligence, and emotions of the person in front of me. And I mean, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And we're not doing it. We're not listening long enough to really see that. And I think that the big win for me there is empathy. You're developing such a deep empathy for the other person's situation. And where very often we're training perhaps younger financial planners to work with older clients. Their lives don't look the same. How do we display empathy when we don't look like the people we're working with? And actually, perhaps people who are more experienced are now having to develop a proposition that works for younger clients and needing to work with people again who don't look so much like them. If we can listen for longer and really be comfortable with whatever we're hearing, not express judgment, allow people to really feel heard, we're expressing empathy, we're building connection, which means that people are going to be more likely to want to work with us. So yeah, it's a long answer to a short question, but all of that it's the simple stuff that is mind-blowing when you get it right and you see the impact that it can have.
Yeah, and I was thinking, and I think Ruth has expressed it so much better than I was going to express it, but I was just thinking to myself, when I've taken the time to keep going and just push a little bit further than I might feel comfortable with questions with clients, people are so interesting. Like, you find out stuff, the hobbies and things they're into, you're looking at the person going, I never would have guessed. And that's so fascinating. So if you can go there, it just becomes even more rich. Your job becomes so much more interesting because you just find out so much more about people. It's super cool.